Boys, we are back doing a live stream here. City get panned, absolutely panned versus Arsenal yesterday. I'm doing my recap quickly. I have it big and bold right here to remind us all that while it's nice that we are signing players and we've dropped a bunch of cash and whatnot, the work is not done because clearly the team is not where it needs to be at the moment. 5-1, man. 5-1 is brutal. Was 1-1 with about 30 minutes to go ish, 35 minutes to go. So seeing it end with 5 is sad. It shows a lack of leadership, lack of fight, and unfortunately, it felt like for me that some of the boys gave up a bit and weren't giving it their all at the end there, at least on goals 4 and 5. I don't know, just disappointing in general. So with that being said, there is still a lot left to play for this season. We're still in the Champions League, still in the FA Cup, still in the top 4 race. So we move on, and I will remove that off the screen. But yeah, disappointing yesterday. I'm going to pull up the stats so we can go over it real quick here. 5-1, like I said, basically immediately it was brutal to watch. McKenzie gives the ball away, bozo moment, and they score within the first 2 minutes of the game. The rest of the first half is mixed with some good performances from City, some more errors where we're giving the ball away. Ortega especially, man, poor from Ortega yesterday, really poor. Unfortunately, that's just he's not Ederson, something I say a lot. We have Ederson here for a reason. We have to do what we have to do to keep him because the guy's he's better than Ortega. I don't know who else is out there that can give us what Ederson gives us. You would think with Ortega comes better shot stopping, but clearly that was not the case yesterday. Poor distribution, giving the ball away, and should have saved at least a couple of the goals that went in. So unfortunate there from Ortega. Let me pull up the stats here so you guys can see. We had the ball more. XG is actually extremely close at 1. They end up scoring 5, and it's only a 1 to 0.81. So, I mean, it's hard to argue that it was that. It really wasn't a 5-1, but it was a 5-1 in the sense that we just gave them goals. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain. It's not like Arsenal played some silky smooth, exciting form of football and they just rinsed us that way. It was more Odegaard was gifted a goal, Foden gives the ball away, Partey gets a deflected goal. Ortega should save this, I would think 9 times out of 10. This is on a break where Stones just doesn't lock Havertz off the inside here, and he just cuts in and scores. And then at this point, guys are just not running. They're not trying anymore, which is sad, but 5-1. So I don't know that 5-1 is actually an accurate reflection of the game. I mean, it was 1-1, like I said, with 35 minutes to go. So I don't know. But 5-1, just in seeing it, it's a brutal reminder that the squad still needs fixes all over the place. So look at the ratings here quickly. A lot of green and a lot of red and orange for City, as you would expect. Akanji gets a horrible 3.9. Ortega, same. Nunez is at a 4.5 and Stone's at a 4.7. I definitely agree that this was the crux of our issues yesterday. Bernardo, I love you, man. You're a great player. But maybe it's my lack of soccer football knowledge, knowing what you provide, but it feels like there's not a lot you provide at the moment for us. You always give it your best. You always run, and you're probably, killing it in the miles run per game stat. But again, that doesn't win us games. You don't give us goals. You don't give us assists. There's that clip going around Twitter with the through ball that he should have played to Marmouche, and it's just pass backwards type of thing. And maybe I'm hoping for things that he can't do. He's not that type of player. Maybe that's just not what he's on the field for. So maybe it's harsh of me to not rate his performance yesterday and basically throughout the whole season. Kovacic, again, he's just not a soul six. It's tough for him. It's trying to do something, trying to get him to do something that he can't really do. So he's not good enough to play the six. Is he good enough for a squad role in the team? Yes, of course. I think he is good enough and should stay. But again, there's a lot of Saudi links out there for Kovacic. So summer, maybe moving the summer for him. Who knows? Savinho, I do agree with this. He was the one trying out there. He was making attempted runs. He was taking players on, and I don't think he was poor at all. It's tough when the whole team isn't clicking for individual performances to stand out. But in general, I thought he was pretty good. Sent in the cross for Haaland to get his goal. Haaland didn't really have much to feed off of. He had a couple chances, scores the header. Marmoush made a ton of runs. We didn't find him, so in the end, he ends up with a negligible impact on the game. Foden, 5.1, pretty poor in general from Foden for me. The consistency just hasn't been there this season. Still a great player. I mean, he's the reigning Premier League player of the season. He's got it in him. He's just, I don't know, man. Just wasn't his type of day. So yeah, that's most of the impact players on the game. We had McAtee come on for about 20 minutes. Same for KDB. Not much impact at all. I don't even remember seeing McAtee get on the ball much at all. Just some cardio for these two guys here. Game was pretty much over at this point, unfortunately for them. So, forget Arsenal. Move on. A lot of fixtures coming up. FA Cup at the weekend, Saturday. I'll be doing a live watch along, of course. 7:15 kickoff for me here, so I'll go live about 7 a.m. ish. Hopefully seeing some new transfers, some of the new boys, the young boys. And ideally, it's a nice, easy, calm, no drama type game for us. Following that, we go with Real Madrid, Newcastle, Madrid, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Forest. Everyone knows this. It's a brutal, brutal schedule ahead for us all. And I hope we can get out of this February still in the top four race. I don't see many wins here, unfortunately. And I'm not super confident going into this Real Madrid fixture, as I'm sure most of the fans are not at the moment. Not a lot to inspire confidence, unfortunately. However, we'll switch over here to Twitter to look at some of the transfer news for Deadline Day. Deadline Day has officially closed. There will be no more transfers as of the recording of this video here. And it was a big day for City. Jacob Wright, first one of the players heading out, will be joining Norwich. Originally looked like Swansea, but fell through for whatever reason, and he will be going to Norwich on a loan with an option to buy. I would imagine that is contingent on them staying in the championship. Maybe it's contingent on them getting promoted. I don't know. Don't know if Norwich is in contention to get promoted, but they're probably, are something like that. And good for Jacob Wright. Hopefully there's a buyback in there. Remains to be seen if that is the case. Nico O'Reilly. There was rumors this morning and yesterday that he may be heading to Chelsea. Apparently, City were open to the deal, to a sale, but it was mandatory that there would be a buyback, and Chelsea were not interested in that, so they pulled out of the deal, which is great. I didn't want Nico O'Reilly to leave. I'm sure most people didn't want Nico O'Reilly to leave, as he's got. I feel like he's got a promising future, and he's one that can make an impact in the team. So good for us to stand firm, and at least hopefully going forward we see him in the team. I would expect him to start at the weekend for sure. Let's take a look here. Now, the main source of the news for today, 9 hours ago, pretty early in the morning, Fabrizio Romano confirms, here we go, Nico Gonzalez to Manchester City. They're going to pay the 60 million euro fee with a different structure to a straightforward release clause. So a lot of people were, pretty pissed, upset that City wanted to negotiate the release clause, and maybe it wasn't really negotiating down the release clause, but it was really negotiating a way to pay it over a certain amount of years to help on our books, which is fine with me. We got the player. It makes more sense financially to pay it over years than pay all 60 million up front. So that's what City have done, and the deal was done. He has been now announced by Man City. There are some positive comments coming from Cheeky on the player, and apparently it's going to be a 5-year, 4.5-year contract since it's starting in January, which is great. He's an up and coming talent, someone from La Masia, Barcelona's academy, which is probably alongside ours, one of the best academies in the world. So it's something that is exciting, but knowing that we got trounced yesterday kind of brings my excitement down a bit, unfortunately. It's kind of, it is what it is. I'm happy we got it done, and we, purchased five first team players this window, or I guess 4, because Juma Ba has been loaned. But, it's an interesting window for us. We get 2 full-on starting 11 type players in Marmoush and Nico Gonzalez, who I'd expect to get a ton of playing time over the next, half season. And then you get 2 guys who are on the younger side who I don't expect to get much playing time in Kusinov and Vitor Rice. I hope both of them play on Saturday, of course. I hope Nico Gonzalez plays on Saturday, of course. But 2 guys contributing to the team mostly probably is what I would expect. Would have loved a third who could really contribute, being a right back. Cambiasso would have been nice, but looks like that is pushed back to the summer. They wanted 75 million. Apparently they wouldn't budge, and that's too much for a fullback for me personally, and seemingly for City as well. So transfer window's done. It is what it is. We've got some tough games coming up. I am excited for the games, as always. Love watching my team, and it's just it's just such a poor season that it is hard to, get super hyped over these transfers when the club is in the state that it is. So with that being said, we have spent about 200 million euros in January, which is great. I'm proud that my club is someone that goes out and invests and sees a problem. Maybe they saw it, 6 months too late. Should have been done in summer. But that's on Pep. He said he was cool rocking with the squad he had and didn't want any signings. So instead of waiting until summer to do it, we've started the rebuild in January. I expect to see a busy summer. 5 or 6 more players probably is what it's going to take. This is a 500 million pound rebuild probably, and we're at about 200 now. So there, I don't know. Maybe they won't do all that in the summer. Maybe it's 2 summer windows coming up, but it remains to be seen. Hopefully, there's some big time players. We still need a right back. We're gonna need a goalie, maybe 2 if Ortega doesn't become number 1. We're gonna need a couple more midfielders and maybe some attacking depth if some of our attackers decide to leave, like Grealish, like Doku. Remains to be seen. But of course, as always, I will continue to monitor Twitter and the reports and come back with some more live streams. Hopefully I see some more people in the comments. I appreciate it. Even if it's a hate comment, I don't really care. No big deal. I love to have a talk with you guys in the comments. So I appreciate it. Subscribers continue to go up. Very cool for me. But yeah, that's it. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment, follow me on Twitter, all the cool stuff. I do appreciate it. Come on, City. Better times ahead, boys. Better times ahead.